May I ask what you do for a living?
Consulting, mostly. I'm a businessman.
I don't have direct contact with Wolf, you know that, right?
Yeah, but you have friends there, don't you?
Yeah, Bill Cavish, you know him? He works for Wolf, he's a friend.
Good morning, Bill. Norman Oppenheimer. Can I say that I'm your uncle?
No.
So I'm curious where the two of you met for the first time.
I usually tell the story. You go ahead.
Well, we met in New York. I think the only city where someone like me can meet someone like him is New York. And it's kind of what the movie's about in a way. Someone who really wants to capture the world meeting someone who can make that happen.
But he wasn't all a Norman. I mean, this was a guy who was like, first of all, he's super intense. He's got his own thing going on. He's an Israeli superstar director. Everyone loves and thinks he's the greatest director. They're so proud of him. He's kind of self-contained in his own thing. We met with Oren Moverman, and who was a longtime friend of mine. We've worked together. He's written several of my movies and directed now 2 of them, and he produced this. And we met, and I had seen one of Joseph's earlier films, Beaufort, which I was very impressed with. And I ended up saying to him, I said, look, if you ever want to do a movie about the Middle East, I mean, please, I would love to talk to you about it.
It's interesting that you say a movie about the Middle East because in many ways the specifics don't matter. It's very much a sort of fable.
I sometimes characterize this as Rosencrantz and Guildenstern in Hamlet. And Norman is one of those peripheral characters in the story of a Mideast peace process, and who ends up being what the camera finds. Let's focus on that character.
And the two of you sat down and started working on developing Norman as a character for quite a long time.
It was a great luxury, actually.
Where does that begin?
A room, basically. It's a room. You know, he sent me the script. I responded to the script. I think the first conversation was probably over the phone. And my first question was basically, why me? And I mean, clearly if you read the script, you wouldn't say Richard Gere. So I wanted to know what he was thinking, what he wanted me to bring to this. And so that was the beginning. And then it was literally a room in a building in Soho. Small room, 10 by 10 probably.
No windows.
No windows. There was a desk, couple chairs, a couch, and that was it. And we just started meeting there, and it was free form. Sometimes we talked about the movie, sometimes we just talked. But everything, of course, at that point is focusing on how we're going to do this. No matter what we're talking about. We're eating, we're talking, we're not talking, whatever. It's all somehow filtering into how we're going to actually make this movie. And the initial stage, I think, from Joseph's side was making sure that I knew what he was after. Not giving me solutions, but giving me the parameters of this universe that came out of him and he wanted to explore and film. And thank God we had enough time that it was a very natural process.
Yeah.
That allowed us things to settle deeply, to dream, to ask questions, to find solutions that weren't the obvious solutions. For me, anyhow. This character is his impulses and concerns are very different than mine. So it needed me to be able to get past myself much more than on some characters that I've played.
I have to leave. This is unacceptable.
So I'll tell my partners that we had a good conversation.
You're like a drowning man trying to wave at an ocean liner.
But I'm a good swimmer.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Do you know Norman Oppenheimer?
No, I don't.
Very nice to meet you.